guys, it's Lord Both here for another video, and the new gameplay trailer for the Game of Thrones action RPG just dropped. I'm gonna play it for you in its entirety here. Go ahead and take a look.
Child, you possess a noble's ambition, but you gravely underestimate the game we play.
You wish to save your men? I wish to maintain balance. Our goals align.
Count your blessings, Northerner. You've still got your head. For now.
So after watching the trailer, I have a few takeaways. First off, just looking at the gameplay, I can literally hear the director telling the developers, nah, make it look more like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like somewhere between Assassin's Creed Valhalla and The Witcher 3. Which normally you'd be like, oh, that's a great thing. But not to this extent. This looks like almost a carbon copy of those games. To the point where it's almost indistinguishable between this and actual Game of Thrones. It doesn't feel like Game of Thrones at all, just looking at it. Secondly, this game is coming out in 3 places: iOS, Android, and PC. So A, no console. That's kind of weird, because guess where the majority of action RPGs are played? They're played on console and they're played on PC. They're not played on your iPad. It also tells me that the narrative is going to be short and full of microtransactions. Because to have a game at this level of graphics and this level of gameplay and optimize it for iOS and Android without having phones and iPads blow up, that means it still has to be relatively small, at least as compared to other video games of this kind of scale. So that means that it's going to be short and limited. You're not going to have a massive sprawling story like you have in other games. And if it's heavily focused on iOS and Android optimization, it's going to be played through there. That means that they're trying to target 2 specific audience groups, women and children, because those are the people that play games through iOS and Android mostly. I mean, we hear it all the time. Oh, 50% of gamers are women. Yeah, they're 50% of gamers because you're including the fact that women play games on their phones. They're not booting up their PlayStations to play God of War, okay? And really, that's the thing with women. Action-adventure RPGs are not a women-friendly kind of game genre. When's the last time you heard your girlfriend say, oh babe, I really want to play Witcher 3. Hey babe, I'm really thinking of getting into Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Because, again, that's what this game pretty much looks like a carbon copy of. And if you're going for children as an audience, Game of Thrones is the wrong IP to do that with. Game of Thrones has never and never will be the kind of franchise where you're like, hey, let's get the whole family together, including the kids, and sit down and watch Game of Thrones. Finally, the big problem with this game, and this is a big one, timing. If this game was released 5 to 10 years ago, we're talking 2014, 2016, somewhere along that lines, when Game of Thrones was at its peak popularity, this game could have been mid as hell. It could have even been below mid, and it would have sold like gangbusters. Why? Because, well, it would have given you the Hogwarts Legacy experience. A lot of people at the time who were big into Game of Thrones, including myself, we wanted something like this. We wanted to immerse ourselves in the world of Game of Thrones through an action RPG. Dudes would have killed to play a game like that. Hogwarts Legacy sold really well because it gave people, including women, because guess what? There's a huge base of Harry Potter fans that are women, my wife included. She is not a gamer by any stance, and she was like, I want to play a Hogwarts Legacy, and she clocked in hours on that game. And even her, halfway through the game, she was kind of like, this game mechanics-wise is kind of repetitive, and the story's kind of not good. And she was right. Even she could see the flaws in the game after a while. But she still played it and loved it, and a lot of people did with Hogwarts Legacy, because it gave people the experience they were looking after, where they wanted to just ride on a broomstick, cast spells, immerse themselves in the actual Hogwarts school, get sorted in the sorting hat, all of that. It gave them a base experience that they were looking after. And this Game of Thrones game, it could have done that 5 to 10 years ago, and people would have loved it, people would have bought the hell out of it. But in 2025, no. In 2025, when we're way past Game of Thrones' peak popularity, now they have to prove it. Now they have to actually give us a game with substance and a reason to buy it. And another real reason for that is because of how Game of Thrones ended and the mixed reception of the spin-offs of Game of Thrones. I and a lot of gamers, I'm sure that were into Game of Thrones, probably feel this way, are asking ourselves, why would I play this game when I know how the major story ends in the world and it really pissed me off and I hate it? Why would I even get involved? And that's yet another hurdle this game has to jump. To be honest, you add all these things up and I just don't see how this game is going to be the roaring success that they probably want it to be. And honestly, probably need it to be. I don't know what the budget was for this thing, but it doesn't look like it was made on the cheap. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching all of it. And we'll talk to you again later.